What bunk did he take? When Dad was going from Europe to Japan, where he went through what? The Panama Canal?
Yeah, he went to Panama.
So where did he go from France to?
From France always down through South America there, between, what is that?
Panama Canal?
Panama Canal, and then he went over to Japan. But when he was fighting, he'd say they would pull up off the boats when they were on the boats going over, and then they would just stand up in there, and he always had a little Jeep that he drove, and he'd stand up and they'd drive them straight out. You know, they drop their gangplank out in the front, and they just go straight out. Well, I've seen it on TV already now.
So it's kind of like the Saving Private Ryan. That front would flop open.
It would flop open.
So he was in a Jeep versus having to walk through the water.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Could he swim?
No, he couldn't swim. He was a master sergeant when he came home. I don't know what rank he had at that time. I don't really know.
So when he was on the submarine ships going from Germany to the Philippines, you said he lost so much weight. Why?
Yeah, well, his food was so bad, and he lost. But then when he got over to the Philippines, he liked bananas so well, and he ate bananas. Then he put on some weight, but the rations they weren't very good in some of the food, and he said when he would see a hunk of meat or a quarter of meat or some beef hanging out, the flies were flying around on it, and he said he was raised on a farm and he knew what good meat was, and he couldn't eat that. He said that just drove him nuts.
So who was your husband again?
Albert Bolzenius.
And then when he was in the submarine, where was he in the bunks? Where did he choose to live at in the bunks?
When he was on the boat, he always slept on the the top, number 6, because he said other people were throwing up and everything, and he couldn't stand that, and he didn't throw up from riding on the boat.
So he was in the bottom bunk, the middle bunk, the top bunk.
The 6.
Because why?
Because they rocked so bad, and a lot of them got so terrible sick, and they would roll out or they'd puke and throw up over everybody, and it was such a mess in there in those bunks.